Swimmers don't just have to get into effective positions to create propulsion, they have to get into positions where they can use the strongest muscles of their upper body in order to power the stroke. It's position plus power that equals speed. Let's check it out. Hi everyone, Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. To swim freestyle, swimmers don't just have to execute effective mechanics, they have to apply a lot of force. And to do so, they have to use the strongest muscles of the upper body, which are the latissimus muscles and the pectoral muscles. Not only do swimmers have to put their arms in position where they can use a big surface area to move a lot of water, they have to put their arm in position where they can leverage the strongest muscles of the upper body. These are two key goals that swimmers have to achieve in order to create a lot of propulsion. Creating a big surface area is relatively straightforward. Swimmers have to position the arm so as much of it is facing backwards as possible. But again, they have to do so in a way that creates the potential to use the strongest muscles to move that arm backwards with a lot of force and a lot of speed. When swimmers set up the stroke, they need to position their arm so the elbow is far away from the body as possible. It's by bringing the elbow into the body that swimmers can create the force necessary to move themselves forward. And again, the pectorals and the latissimus muscles are the muscles that squeeze the elbow into the side. That is the engine that powers the stroke. By starting with the elbow away from the body and squeezing it into the body, swimmers can move their arm backwards with a lot of force and a lot of speed. Let's take a look at elite freestylers making it happen. So we'll start off with a directly underwater view to get a sense of what's going on. So if we look at this swimmer here, she's extended out in front. She's just entered with the left arm. And so she's going to reposition the arm so that it's facing backwards to set up the stroke. So she does that here. Now the arm is facing down towards the bottom of the pool. And as you can see, the elbow is way out to the side. So what she's going to do to pull back and to move herself forward is she's going to squeeze that elbow into the side. And so you can see there, the elbow is way out wide and then it's brought to the side and that moves her arm backwards. And if you think about it, that squeeze there, that's going to be powered by the muscles of the chest, by the muscles of the back, and those are the biggest and the strongest muscles of the upper body. So the arm starts out wide and then it comes into the body and that moves her forward. If we watch again on the right arm, we can see here, everything is positioned backwards now. The elbow is out to the side and she's going to squeeze that into the body. So we can see here a lot of space in that armpit. The armpit is open and then she's going to squeeze and pull everything down and everything is going to close. The elbow is going to come into the side. So that is the primary motion that creates most of the propulsion. So again, swimmers have to set up the strokes. The arm is facing backwards with the elbow out to the side, and the importance of having the elbow out to the side is that the pecs and the lats have a lot more length, and that allows them to contract over a much longer range of motion. And that allows swimmers to move their arm backwards for a longer range of motion, which will move them forwards. So again, everything squeezes in, the elbow is brought to the side, and that is what's going to power the pull. So one more time on this side, lots of space, lots of separation between the upper arm and the body. And then as she pulls, that space is going to disappear. The elbow is going to come into the side. The upper arm is going to move to the side. And again, that's powered by the pectoral and latissimus muscles, and that sends her forward down the pool. So another swimmer here from a different angle. We can see the swimmer is going to set up the stroke here. You can see the big surface area. Everything is facing forwards. And just as importantly, his upper arm is very far away from his torso. There's a lot of space in the armpit. The elbow is far away from the body. And then everything's going to squeeze in and that space is going to close. Now his upper arm is right along the side of the body. His elbow is squeezed into the body. And that's where he gets the most propulsion. So it's this movement here where the arm is brought back by squeezing it into the body. That's going to move him forward. That's going to create as much propulsion as possible. And that's going to allow him to create as much speed as possible. And so on the other side, you can see the elbow is far away. And then boom, it's brought into the body. And then the same thing on this side. Lots of space there. Lots of surface area there. The surface area remains. The space disappears as he pulls back, as he squeezes in. So the more swimmers can use that movement, the more the swimmers can use that motion, that's what's going to power them down the pool in a way that creates a lot of speed, but also is very sustainable because the biggest and the strongest muscles are executing and performing the work. So we have two sprinters here, and they're going to execute the same principles here, although they'll use a slightly different strategy. So if we take a look at the swimmer on the left, His right arm has just entered the water, and to set up the stroke, it's going to get very deep, and that's going to allow him to get a big surface area facing backwards. But in this case, his elbow isn't quite as much out to the side, it's more straight down. But there's still a lot of space between the arm and the body. And so when he pulls back, you can see right there, that's where he squeezes everything in. So he moves from a position that's down and away to up and in, and that squeeze, that bringing of the elbow into the body is what's going to power the pull. So it's still the same concept, it's still the same principles, it's still the same basic movement. They're just starting from a slightly different position because they set up their stroke a little bit differently. It's a little bit deeper, it's a little bit straighter, and so that's going to change the trajectory of the arm. It's still back, but rather than coming back and in, it's more of a back and up movement. If we watch the swimmer on the right here, we'll see the same thing. So he's got his arm facing backwards here. The elbow is separated, it's away from the body, the upper arm is away from the body, and then he pulls everything in there, and that's what powers the pull, that's what moves him forwards, and then once that pull is completed, the elbow is by the side, transitions to the finish of the stroke, and then quickly exits the water. So same thing on the left arm with that swimmer, you can see deep, lots of space between the elbow and the body, and then he's going to pull back and in, and that's what brings the arm to the body. That's what allows him to move forwards, and that brings his arm backwards. And again, because of the force demands in the sprints, swimmers need to be really effective with making sure that they're using the right muscles in the right way, and they can do that by setting up the stroke effectively, getting the arm in a position where the elbow is away from the body, the upper arm is away from the body, and then squeezing that arm, pulling that arm back and in to the torso. That's what's going to create the propulsion that's necessary to power swimmers down the pool. And so again, we'll watch the swimmers here. You can see they get everything facing backwards, and then they squeeze everything in, they bring the arm to the body, and that sends them down the pool. For more on how to help swimmers create more propulsion with their upper body in freestyle, check out the video below.